Boiling broth drenched her leg, but Sean didn't even look back.
I'm fine! Go back to Nora!
You know she's nothing compared to you!
When I married Sean at 22, he was 10 years older, treating me like priceless porcelain. Every night, his gentleness turned relentless, filling me with the promise of new life. I thought his devotion belonged entirely to me, until the day my father died. I called him 99 times, but he sent every single one to voicemail. Then, a text from my best friend arrived, and the photo inside froze my blood. The man was my husband, and the woman in his arms was my Aunt Cecilia. 3 days after the funeral, he rushed home, gathering my silent, swollen self into his arms. He blamed the time difference and a last-minute meeting, offering anything to make it up to me. Without a word, I handed him 2 documents. He was so eager to appease me that he signed without a second glance. Assuming my silence was peace, he gently kissed my pregnant belly and escorted me to the car. During the suffocating drive to my prenatal appointment, a sharp ringtone pierced the air. It was her voice. He hung up immediately, muttered a lie about urgent work, and left me standing alone in the cold wind. Watching the city blur by from a cab, my mind drifted to a hit and run years ago. Bleeding on the pavement, I thought I was dying, till Sean appeared like a savior and swept me off my feet. He was so perfect. Yet, as my father took his last breath calling his name, he was nowhere to be found. Desperate for the truth, I returned home and pushed open the door to his forbidden study. The room was a shrine. Love letters, shattered million-dollar jewels, and a diary preserving a 10-year blazing passion. The diary revealed everything. He only chose me because my face was an exact replica of Cecilia's. He orchestrated the crash to play the hero and used me every night just to breed a child that looked like her. But I am no one's living echo. Placing his signed divorce and abortion papers on the doctor's desk, I calmly ended it all.
3 hours after the procedure, Nora staggered home with one hand pressed to her abdomen, each step a fresh betrayal from her own body. The pain coiled through her gut with vicious precision. The reflection staring back wasn't her anymore.
Take out all the jewelry and handbags in the display cabinet house with them. Donate the money to the impoverished regions.
Nora, what's with the sudden charity?
She didn't look at him. Her voice was thin, flat. Thankfully, he didn't hear the truth buried in the words.
That's great. Next week I'll take you to Sotheby's auction and we'll refill those shelves with whatever you like, babe.
Your work done?
All wrapped up. I know you've been through hell, so I'm yours for the next 7 days. Just you, me, and the little one.
Nora, Cecilia flew back yesterday. We're having a family dinner at the old house. Can you come?
I'm not...
Of course we'll be there!
Nora, I know you're hurting, but you can't drown in it. You are carrying a child. Being around family will help. Your uncle said you haven't seen your aunt in years. It's only proper.
Once, she might have thought the gesture thoughtful. Now she saw it clearly. Cowardy, using her hands to deliver his offering to his queen. The box felt heavy as a stone. She said nothing and walked into the buzzing hall.
Nora, this is...
Cecilia, you were abroad and missed the wedding. This is Nora's husband, Sean Brooks, CEO of the Brooks Group.
Welcome back, Aunt. Just a month-long layover, then I'll be heading back to Paris. Nora, lovely taste. I've been coveting this piece for ages. My honey picked it. His taste is always impeccable.
Dinner was a study in irony. Sean barely touched his food, his fork moving restlessly against the plate. Between sips of wine, he kept piling beef and lamb into her bowl, and the relatives cooed endlessly. Nora is blessed. A husband this attentive is rare. Nora's lips twitched at the cosmic joke, her fingers tightening around her fork until her knuckles whited. She stared at the mound of meat. Since the pregnancy, even the scent made her weak. Sean knew, but tonight he'd forgotten.
Too busy charming Cecilia, rotating dishes to place shrimp and crab in front of her. Her aunt had always loved seafood. Of course he remembered that. He remembered everything about Cecilia. When the dinner ended, Sean was already wasted beyond recognition. His family begged them to stay the night. The guest room already made up and waiting. Nora followed him in, already drained by the night. She washed up quickly, turned off the lights, and left only a tiny lamp on by the bed. Barely 10 minutes later, he blinked awake from his stupor, and what he said next would break her forever.
Cecilia.
You came back for me, didn't you?
In that split second, Nora froze. She couldn't bring herself to correct him.
What about you? Who did you get this drunk for tonight?
Even though she'd seen the signs, his words split her heart wide open. Her hands shaking violently, she locked herself in the bathroom. It took her 2 full hours to calm down. When she finally stepped out of the bathroom, the bed was empty, and what she saw next would shatter her world entirely. There they were, out on the balcony, Sean and the real Cecilia, holding each other in the dark, just feet away from her.
Why I married her! She's your carbon copy! With her! I can see you without waiting 40 hours on your street!
You're insane!
I've been insane since the day you left me. I need you with me, even if it's just a shadow.
He even planned to name their unborn baby after Cecilia. Nora heard it all, and she'd had enough.
What if she finds out?
She won't. Even if she does, she loves me too much to ever leave.
He thought she'd stay trapped in his gilded cage forever. He was dead wrong. Sean never came home that night. Nora left before dawn and filed for permanent immigration the second she got home.
You have Sean. He'll take care of you and the baby forever. Yeah, I'll have a new family. Just not with Sean Brooks.
They talked like a married couple, 'cause they should have been. Nora was just the replacement. Boiling broth drenched her leg, but Sean didn't even look back.
I'm fine! Go back to Nora!
You know she's nothing compared to you!
Nora, how long have you been standing there?
At the moment Nora fell, Sean's heart sank. My wife is 4 months pregnant, doctor. Please be careful with the medicine. 4 months? But this looks like she's not pregnant at all. Cleaning the wound without anesthesia felt like fire burning her bones, yet she gritted her teeth and didn't cry out. Nora, I'm sorry, I was running too fast. Sean held her hand tightly, apologizing with a face full of regret. You're burned too. Go get bandaged. I'll stay here and watch over her. You still care about me. Admit it. We can start over. That always cool CEO now looked like an impulsive boy. Nora, are you awake? Did you hear what was just said? No, I didn't hear anything. The lie slipped out. She was already prepared to exit from this. 10 days later, Cecilia frantically tore down the photo wall in the study. None of these can stay. What if Nora sees them? I only love you. Just say the word and I'll divorce her tomorrow. Nora hid in the shadows, her heart racing. Yet she no longer felt pain. The wound was scabbing over, and her love for him was completely dissipating. Remember when Sean covered the entire playground with roses? That was so romantic. Random gossip heard by chance completed the final piece of the truth. It turns out that 4 months pregnant was just a script he acted out to please the elders. Let's end it. Sean, let's get a divorce. Is it because of that day at the hospital? I can explain. No need. I'm just tired of acting. She walked out of the villa without looking back, the ring left on the cold floor. From now on, she is no longer anyone's substitute, but only herself. Nora let out a silent, mirthless sneer. The truth had frozen something deep inside her. Every tender moment had been a performance. She had been a ghost in her own marriage. This house was never a home. Now she was ready to vanish completely. She nearly collided with Cecilia, fresh out of the bathroom. 2 women trapped by the same man's obsession. She grabbed Nora's wrist in a tight, desperate grip. Nora wrenched her arm away, refusing the confrontation. The force threw her off balance, into the banister. She ignored Cecilia's call and walked on. Cecilia chased after her, desperate to stop her. Cecilia's high heel slipped and she fell backward. She tumbled down the stairs, each impact echoing like a gunshot. A single moment had shattered everything. Nora's mind went completely blank with terror. She raced the stairs, reaching out to help. A brutal force slammed into her from the side. Her skull cracked against the wall, a sickening crunch echoing. Warm, metallic blood blurred her vision completely. Through the agony, she saw Sean's face, twisted with rage. He snarled that he'd make her pay if Cecilia died. She felt her consciousness fraying, then snapping completely. She plunged into endless darkness with no sense of time. When she opened her eyes, the doctor let out a relieved breath. She weakly reached for her buzzing phone on the nightstand. Sean's panicked voice blared from the speaker. She spoke the hospital name and room number, her voice flat. Every second was counting down. Only 10 days left until her divorce was final. The countdown had begun. But the real fight was just starting. The week Nora was in the hospital, Sean was never by her side. No constant calls, no late-night vigils, just fleeting, rushed visits. Nora knew exactly where he was, with Cecilia. She didn't waste a single breath calling him out. On discharge day, he dropped her at the door and sped off before she could unlock it. Just then, her phone rang. It was immigration. Her documents were ready. She signed every paper, severing every legal tie to this country. Back home, she packed her whole life into black trash bags in silence. His smile collapsed the second he saw the garbage bags. Before she could speak, a frantic call shattered the silence. Cecilia had collapsed, in acute kidney failure. Sean was blind with panic. The waiting room was crammed with the Wilson family, all desperate for a match. He turned to Nora, demanding she get tested too. 3 days later, no family match was found. But Nora found a devastating truth. He was going to donate his own kidney to Cecilia and lie to Nora about it. In that moment, every last thread of love she had for him snapped. The next morning, her divorce was finalized. She put 2 papers in a gift box, the divorce decree and the abortion notice. It was the perfect early birthday gift for the man who'd broken her. As he was wheeled into surgery, Nora walked into the airport. Sean Brooks? She would never see him again. Sean Brooks woke in a daze, fighting through the anesthetic fog. The second his mind cleared, he grabbed the doctor's sleeve. He begged for answers about Cecilia, desperate to know if she was okay. The doctor told him Cecilia's surgery was a complete success. He added she was still under anesthesia, a normal post-op state. But Sean only heard, still under anesthesia. Panic exploded in his chest. He forced himself up, ignoring the pain. The tearing pain from his stitches ripped through him, but he didn't care. The doctor lunged forward, holding him down, yelling he couldn't get out of bed. Sean pushed him away, screaming he had to see her with his own eyes. The doctor gave in, but made him follow his strict rules. He ordered a wheelchair and personally pushed Sean down the hallway. They walked through the sterile hallway, straight to Cecilia's ward. There she lay, pale and fragile, breathing steadily. She was alive. The tight grip on Sean's chest finally released in that moment. He stared at her, silently whispering her name. Cecilia. We can never be together, he thought. But this, right now, is enough. A part of me will live in you forever. We will be bound by blood. Isn't this, too, a kind of love? He stayed by her side as the day faded from afternoon to dusk. He only left when his assistant called for the 3rd time. He ordered to transfer her today, to never let her know he was the donor. 2 days later, Cecilia woke up. That night, a storm raged. Sean realized he'd completely forgotten his wife, Nora. she was gone. Something precious was slipping through his fingers, and he was powerless to stop it. Sean's mind raced wildly. Where could Nora have gone? He called his assistant, forcing his voice to stay steady. "Track down Nora's family. Find where she is," he ordered. The assistant agreed, but Sean's thoughts were a chaotic mess. Had she left any clues behind? Suddenly, he remembered the box. Nora had given him a small gift, his birthday present, 2 weeks early. Why so early? Where had he put the box? He'd handed it to his assistant before the surgery. "Come to the hospital right now. Bring me that box from Nora, immediately." He stared at the gray rain outside, a hollow, dull pain spreading through his chest. All the details he'd ignored came flooding back. Nora's coldness, the rift between them. He remembered the day she threw all his gifts in the trash, her voice completely flat. He'd knelt down to touch her pregnant belly when her words froze him mid-movement. "You and Cecilia, were you college classmates?" she'd asked. He'd awkwardly brushed it off, changed the subject, but what if she'd known back then? He replayed their last conversation in his head, over and over. He'd told her he was going on a business trip. Her response was calm, but with a bone-deep resolve. "It's fine, Sean. I'll get used to it." He'd asked what she meant, but she never answered, just stared at him with empty eyes. All the signs had been there. The assistant burst through the door, out of breath, clutching a small red box in his hand. Sean grabbed the box, flipped it over. It was light, unnaturally light. The assistant tried to update him on the search, but Sean cut him off, snapping at him to keep looking. Sean flipped open the box lid, not looking up. The next second, his entire body went completely rigid. Inside the box were divorce papers and a fully finalized divorce judgment. For a second, he almost laughed, a sound mixed with blind, disbelieving rage. A pregnant woman had just run away? Then he saw the medical bill at the bottom. The date was the day Cecilia re-entered his life. Nora had lost the baby. His world had completely collapsed.
Nora Jones's plane had barely touched down in Australia before her hand lifted instinctively toward her phone. To text Sean, to tell him she'd landed safely. Her fingers froze in midair. Right. They were divorced. She powered on her new phone and opened WhatsApp. The unfamiliar interface made reality hit harder. This was actually happening. She'd done it. She had walked away from Sean and that whole goddamn farce. Nora made herself a promise. This was her reset, her clean slate, her life, finally hers. The taxi ride to her rental passed in a daze. Ms. Collins, her landlady, was all warmth and open arms, hugging her like a daughter. Nora didn't hesitate. She pulled out the silk scarf and premium coffee she'd brought as a gift. The Collins family had turned their home into a small celebration. On her chair lay a soft pink and white throw, her welcome gift. They treated her like family. They kept her for hours, walking her through everything she needed to know. The language barrier sparked a few hilarious misunderstandings that had Nora laughing so hard her stomach hurt. When the family settled in for their evening movie, Nora excused herself politely, not wanting to impose. Back in her own small cottage, savoring every second, a proper skincare routine. For the first time in years, she could simply exist. She dropped onto the bed and stared at the ceiling, soaking in her new sanctuary. A quiet, unfamiliar contentment spread through her chest. Then, uninvited, the thought drifted in. When will Sean realize I'm gone? Probably never. And if he did, he'd probably celebrate. Nora had seen it in that woman's eyes. She still wanted him. And Sean had given her a kidney. They were probably inseparable now, finally together the way they'd always wanted. The thought should have crushed her. It didn't. All she felt was cool. Nora closed her eyes and let herself sink into a deep, mercifully dreamless sleep.
Nora had just landed in Australia, and everything felt raw,
and unfamiliar. The mess she'd left behind had drained her dry. She needed to remember who she was. The morning bells of St. Mary's Cathedral carved out something peaceful in her chest she'd forgotten existed. The art gallery exploded in color, not the muted grays she'd lived in, but violent blues and screaming reds. Watching Cinderella claw her way to a happy ending, something cracked open inside Nora. She cried ugly tears in the dark, and it felt like purging poison. The blue mountains gave her lungs their first clean breath in years. Nature without judgment. But the real magic happened at 6 in the morning at Port Stevens. The ocean was brutal and beautiful. A massive blue whale breached, its tail painting the sky with crystalline water like something out of a dream. Spray hit her face, cold and shocking. In that moment, the world opened up, and Nora realized how small she'd let herself become, curled up in Sean Brooks's shadow. That was the moment Nora finally, completely, let go of the love that had been nothing but a beautiful lie. The universe seemed to agree. On a harbor cruise, she locked eyes with a blonde local, Mary. What started as casual chit-chat turned into finishing each other's sentences. At a sun-drenched bistro, Mary caught the way Nora talked about wine. Not pretentious, just instinctive.
I'm hiring for my vineyard, and I'm not asking, I want you.
Nora blinked, stunned. I haven't worked a day since graduation. I don't know if I can…
Nora, your instincts about wine, they light me up. Nobody's more perfect for this. She leaned in, grinning. Babe, stop overthinking. I'll teach you everything. Trust yourself.
Nora looked at this stranger who already felt like family and felt hope spread through her chest. Thank you, she said, voice steady. I accept. She didn't owe Sean a single thought anymore. Not his collapse, not his regrets. For the first time in years, Nora was free. And she was never looking back. While Sean Brooks was being wheeled out of the ER. Your boss just had major surgery. Do not stress him. God, this marriage had been a slow-motion disaster. The boss gives his kidney to his first love. The wife responds by terminating the pregnancy and vanishing without a trace. If he didn't find Nora soon, he was going to shatter. In the recovery room, Sean clawed his way back to full consciousness. The memory of that red box replayed again and again, torturing him. Nora was gone. She'd divorced him. She'd abandoned their child. Until something inside him finally snapped. Get in here, he barked hoarsely. I'm going home, now. The assistant stepped through the door, taking in the wild look in Sean's eyes. There was no point arguing. When they reached the house, Sean felt his blood turn to ice. The place was hollowed out. Everything is gone. The stuffed animals they'd picked together. Wiped clean. At the hospital, he'd clung to denial. She's just angry. She still loves me. She wouldn't really leave. The silence of this house didn't lie. It screamed. She had thrown him away, like she'd thrown away their child. He sank heavily onto the couch, like he was sitting in a stranger's home. Sir, the assistant said carefully, I checked with Mrs. Brooks's family. They haven't heard from her. Should I keep looking? Sean let out a harsh, broken laugh. Fury and pain twisted together in his chest. Don't bother. Let her disappear. He didn't love her. Never had. That was what he told himself. In the car back to the hospital, his chest felt carved out. He hesitated, then forced the words out. Keep looking for Nora. He'd always known she was just a substitute. Cecilia was his real love. Why did the idea of Nora Jones being erased from the world make him feel like he was dying? It must be because they'd been married for years, because she was Cecilia's niece. If something happened to her, how could he face Cecilia? That had to be it. It had to be. E-Estate began to fit Nora Jones like a second skin. She stepped into the role of head sommelier as effortlessly as breathing. Her palate finally respected by the seasoned winemakers. Mary had become more than a boss, and Miss Collins turned up with casseroles, treating Nora like a daughter. And Nora gave everything back. She cooked meals that left the Collins family speechless. She was changing, becoming someone brighter, steadier. Happiness became the baseline. Back in Shanghai, The smallest misstep earned a cold, cutting lecture from Sean. Mary announced that her brother was arriving in 3 days, and the house went into full-blown chaos. Nora watched the storm unfold in confusion. Who could possibly be that important? Down in the wine cellar, her pen died halfway through a tasting note. She shook it, muttered under her breath, and flicked it away in pure frustration. And froze. A man in a perfectly tailored suit stood in the doorway, hairstyled like he'd walked straight off a fashion runway. Tiny black ink dots freckled his face like a scattered constellation. Instead of being offended, he laughed too. His eyes crinkled at the corners. Assuming he was the wine consultant, Nora rushed over with a damp cloth, flustered, apologizing over herself. He took the cloth, but didn't use it. Then asked, calmly and directly, "What's your name? And can I pursue you?" The words hit like a physical impact. He added casually, "I'm Jeremy, Mary's brother." Standing in front of her, ink-speckled and infuriatingly handsome, that Jeremy. She stammered a compliment and tried, unsuccessfully, to dodge the emotional grenade he just lobbed at her. Jeremy didn't retreat. He doubled down, until Mary burst in and mercifully shattered the moment. The next morning, Jeremy was already there when Nora arrived, holding an enormous bouquet of wildflowers. He leaned casually against the doorframe, looking like he belonged everywhere he stood. Nora knew there was no more point in dodging. "Listen, I'm single, yeah, but whatever this is between us, it's not happening." Jeremy's expression cracked with genuine, unguarded confusion. "Why the hell not?" She drew a slow breath. "Because I'm divorced. I have an ex-husband." He blinked. Once. Twice. When she didn't add anything else, he let out a short, incredulous laugh. "That's it? That's your big reason for shutting me down?" "Babe, it's the 21st century. A gorgeous woman your age with no past? I want you, not your history." He didn't wait for permission. He grabbed her hand and dragged her straight out of work, declaring it a beach emergency. Instead, Mary calmly pulled out a wad of cash. Don't bring her back until she's smiling. Nora's face burned hotter than the Australian sun. Jeremy didn't do the stale routine. He took her to the ocean. Jeremy slipped off his jacket and tied it around her waist. He stood there in only a thin shirt. Nora forgot how to breathe. Then Jeremy grabbed her hand and ran. Jeremy flashed her a quick grin, released her hand, then his hands were at her ankle, sliding off her shoe, then the sock. "You can't feel the sand with those on," he said with his steady, daring gaze. Flustered, she kicked off the other shoe herself. Bare feet sank into impossibly soft sand. She spun in circles, hair wild, laughter breaking loose from somewhere deep and forgotten. A few yards away, Jeremy watched her with that same relentless, awed smile. Then he bent, scooped up seawater, and flung it straight at her. She gasped and lunged back. They chased each other through pink gold light, splashing and laughing, etching the moment into both their memories forever. A full month had passed since the kidney transplant. Sean never left Cecilia's side, but Nora was nowhere to be found. Cecilia asked softly, "Where's Nora?" Sean forced a smile and lied, "Not feeling well. I told her to rest at home." "Sit. You need to fix things with Shishi. Let the past go. Promise me." Sean peeled an apple silently to hide his unease. Every night, Cecilia urged, "Go home. It's almost dinner. Nora shouldn't be alone all the time." But Sean made excuses to stay. A happy pregnant couple in the cafeteria touched Cecilia deeply. "Sean, is Nora okay? Why hasn't she come to see me?" Sean hesitated and finally whispered, "We can't." "What do you mean we can't?" Sean said flatly. She changed her number, deleted her WhatsApp. She left. Cecilia broke down, crying. "It's my fault. I never should have come back." Sean said quickly, "She's safe. This is on me, not you." Sean held her hand tightly and confessed, "Cecilia, I want to be with you." Cecilia shook her head. "We can't. but his hug broke her defenses. They got along like a normal couple. But Cecilia noticed his gaze kept wandering to pregnant women and cotton candy carts. "Go buy some, you big kid." Late at night, he cried in his sleep. "Nora, why did you leave?" At that moment, Cecilia woke up completely. The next morning, she said calmly to Sean, "Can you help me pick up my cousin from the airport?" As soon as Sean left, Cecilia checked out of the hospital and booked the earliest flight to Paris. The letter said, "Sean, have you ever considered that you might already be in love with Nora, and you're just too blind to see it? You can't stop thinking about her, those ordinary days with her. No one can replace them. Not me, not anyone. Stop lying to yourself. Go to Australia. Win her back. I'm finally going to live my own life. For real this time. Cecilia." The letter slipped from Sean's hands. Sean Brooks stared at Cecilia's letter, her neat handwriting blurring into a confession he hadn't been ready to face. Did he actually love Nora Jones? 3 years of memories detonated in his mind. 2 years of marriage without a single real argument. Every anniversary remembered. Every gift chosen with care. They had moved with the kind of silent coordination that only came from knowing someone completely. He knew she was soft to the core beneath her stubbornness. He knew she needed a nightlight to sleep. And she'd choose crab over shrimp without hesitation. That the tiny wrinkle at the bridge of her nose meant she was about to cry. He had seen all of it. And he ignored it. When she warmed his hands with her own, she rubbed his tense shoulders, ran his bathwater without being asked. He brushed her off every time. And still, she never complained. She just loved him harder. The memories crashed over him like a violent tide. That miserable rainy day he'd almost postponed. She'd lit up as if sunlight had shattered through clouds. He dropped to one knee. She threw herself into his arms. Her soft whisper, "Yes." They screamed into the wind that they were going to be happy. She kept trying, kept smiling, learned massage just to ease his mother's back pain. The floodgates opened. Every version of Nora he had taken for granted came rushing back at once. She looking up at him, always looking up, waiting for warmth he'd slowly stopped giving. He could see her. And with terrifying clarity, he knew he would never see her like that again. Something inside his chest tore open. A raw, bleeding emptiness spread through him. Fear rose like a choking hand around his throat, his fingers shaking so badly he nearly dropped the letter. He grabbed his phone and hit speed dial. The autumn sun hung low over the California winery, quiet and still. Sean Brooks stood at the edge of the winery grounds, his heart slamming so hard against his ribs it felt like it might break free. There she was, Nora Jones. She leaned against the cellar door, a brown leather ledger tucked under her arm. Every inch the composed professional he'd never bothered to see when he had the right to stand beside her. Her hair had grown longer, falling in soft brown waves over her shoulders. The fitted work clothes she wore didn't soften her. Her eyes, once lit only for him, were now calm, clear, and entirely self-contained as she counted bottles. In that instant, Sean understood what real hunger felt like. He felt like an intruder, but turning back was worse. "Nora, I'm here to apologize." Nora's head snapped around. Then, frost. Her body turned before her mind could soften, heels striking the ground as she walked away. Panic detonated. Sean surged forward and grabbed her arm, fingers locking with white-knuckled desperation. Her fingers closed over his hand. One by one, she peeled his fingers away, but her eyes held panic and fear, not love. The neighboring door flew open. She charged. A full-force freight train in a floral muumuu. The watering can came down, hard. Plastic slammed into Sean's forearm with a dull, brutal crack, pain exploding up his arm. He retreated out of range, hands up, breath ragged. As the two women disappeared into the cottage, "She's just angry," he told himself. "She'll calm down. She always did. His fingers tightened around his phone as he booked a hotel. He would stay. He would not leave. She had loved him once. That kind of love didn't disappear. He could and would fix this. Nora Jones would be his again. Back in Miss Collins's cottage, Nora finally let go of every secret she'd been holding in. Miss Collins pulled her into a warm embrace, her steady touch loosening the tight knot in Nora's chest. Dam broke. Hot, violent tears flooded out, all the grief she'd numbed for 3 years finally breaking free. She'd loved him with her whole life, believed in their love with all her innocent heart. They built a life together, a future she thought would last forever. She'd walked away from her career the day she graduated, pouring everything into being Sean Brooks's wife, only to find she'd never been anything but a substitute, a placeholder, a shadow of Cecilia. Even the child she'd yearned for was never truly meant for her. She cried until she had no tears left, until the weight on her chest finally felt a little lighter. The next morning, Nora went to work, as if nothing had changed, asking for her by name. She couldn't refuse. She led him through the wine cellars, wrapped in professional calm like armor. She explained terroir, barrel aging, and vintage differences with cold, perfect precision. With every word she spoke, the hollow in his chest grew wider. Finally, he broke. 3 years of marriage, and he'd never even bothered to learn what she'd studied, who she'd really been. When her shift ended, he was waiting at the exit. He begged her to let him take her to dinner, to talk. She stepped back, clean and deliberate, and told him she already had plans, but he grabbed her wrist anyway. Just as she was about to rip free, she saw Mary and Jeremy approaching. He corrected Sean, calling him her ex-husband, and told him plainly that his desperation wasn't tragic, it was pathetic. The words tore through Sean. Before he could speak, they turned and walked away, leaving him frozen in the street. Mary squeezed her hand, and Nora let out a soft, startled laugh, real, light, and free. For the first time in months, she didn't feel hunted. She felt protected. She felt like she was finally home.
Who the hell are you? Sean snapped, trying to shove past Jeremy, only to find the man standing there like a brick wall, calm, immovable, and maddeningly solid. This is between me and my wife. Jeremy reached out and gave him a slow, almost pitying pat on the shoulder, his voice smooth and unhurried. I'm Nora's new man, or at least, I'm working on it. He leaned in, lips curling into a lazy smirk. You should head home, old man. She's not yours anymore. Sean hadn't expected that. He straightened instinctively, dragging his gaze over the younger man from head to toe. Tall, solidly built, muscles shifting cleanly under his shirt. This wasn't some harmless pretty boy playing games. Nora would never look at you, Sean said, his tone sharp with forced certainty. Even as the lie turned bitter on his tongue, she only ever loved me. Oh? Jeremy spread his arms, gesturing to himself with exaggerated pride. You're telling me she'd really pass on all of this for a grandpa? He clicked his tongue lightly. Yeah, not buying it. Sean's eyes flared wide. Grandpa? Yes, he was older, 10 full years older than Nora, but he took care of himself. He was refined, polished, distinguished. This is called maturity, he snapped coldly. What would a kid like you even know? Jeremy didn't bother answering him. He snapped his fingers. 2 staff members appeared like shadows and moved in, gripping Sean's arms and steering him firmly toward the exit. Jeremy's voice followed him, calm and unmistakably territorial. You come back again, we'll do this all over. He smiled faintly. This is my place now, and as of today, it's Nora's too. The door slammed. Meanwhile, Jeremy rolled up to the restaurant in his convertible, wind threading casually through his hair. The moment he stepped inside, Nora's anxious eyes found him through instinct alone. I took care of it, he said easily, voice low, smile relaxed. A real man handles his girl's problems. That's just how I work. Mary burst out laughing. From the darkness across the street, Sean watched everything. His hands curled into fists so hard, his knuckles nearly split. Acid tore through his gut. Sean stepped directly into Nora Jones's path. Jeremy moved to intercept, but she stopped him. This ends here, she said softly. Let me handle it. Jeremy gave a tight nod,
but stayed close to the door. I'll be right outside. That simple promise filled her with warmth and quiet steel. Nora turned back to Sean, her voice calm and unbreakable. We need to talk. Inside the cottage, Sean sat by the window, while Nora's eyes drifted to Jeremy's silhouette outside. He looked up and lifted a hand in a casual wave. The sight twisted sour, violent rage in Sean's gut. I thought you'd be with Cecilia by now, Nora said, cutting straight through the pretense. The question landed like a blunt blow. Sean's thoughts scattered. Nora poured him a glass of water, her gaze sliding back to Jeremy outside. Sean forced himself to meet her eyes. I'm sorry, Nora. I was a fool. I love you. Nora's expression didn't shift. She studied him with quiet, clinical coolness. Sean glanced toward the window again, panic rising in his chest. Give me another chance. We were good together, weren't we? Too late. Nora's tone was as calm as a judge's final ruling. I don't love you anymore, not even a little. This was about closure. Sean, please leave Australia. You're a burden to me now. Sean's restraint snapped. He pointed sharply at the window. Is this because of him? Some foreign pretty boy? Don't flatter yourself. I'd never go back, even without him. But he's good to me, and I'm happy. Sean went pale. All he had left was pride. He drove straight to the airport, every scrap of dignity fraying. At the gate, he sat hollowed out, gutted. He finally understood. He and Nora were over. He'd destroyed it all with his own hands. He booked the next flight home. He left behind the woman he'd always loved and the man who'd learned to love her right. Sean Brooks threw himself into work, consumed by self-loathing. First in, last out. Boardrooms were his confessional, contracts his penance. But the second he stepped into his empty home, the bottle came out. Whiskey, vodka, anything that could burn away the noise in his head. He drank until the world blurred, until the ghost of Nora finally went silent. Every morning, his assistant found a war zone. He'd broken everything. Half a world away, Nora stood in a shower of petals, reborn. Jeremy knelt before her, his heart laid bare. The moment he saw her, he knew she was everything. This time, she was ready to listen, ready to start over. She thanked the universe. She never lost the courage to love again. 3 years passed like sunlight across water. Nora's new wine, Rebirth, sold out in hours. One man bought every last bottle, Sean Brooks. He saw her everywhere. The life he'd murdered with his lies. Agony exploded in his body. The diagnosis was terminal, stage 4 liver cancer, no way out. Half a world away, Jeremy fumed over the man who'd bought every bottle. But he'd saved their private vintage, the one they made together, the one Sean could never touch. That night, Jeremy had a plan, one he'd been working on for days. When they arrived, Nora's breath caught. It was her old cottage, transformed. Everyone she loved was there, waiting for her. Jeremy dropped to one knee, his heart wide open. He asked her the only question that ever mattered. She said yes, to a new life, to a new forever. Word spread fast in the inner circle. In Paris, Cecilia dropped everything and caught the first flight back home. Her heart slammed against her ribs from the second the wheels left the ground. When she finally reached him, he was unconscious, burning with fever, his mind stuck on the woman he'd lost forever. She understood everything in that single look. With shaking hands, she dialed Nora's number, begging for the one thing that could give him peace. The line connected, and she spoke through her broken sobs. But the words didn't break Nora. She stood in the light of her new life, surrounded by wedding joy, unshakable. Her answer was calm, grounded, and final. She said she would not come back. She hung up and wasted no more time on the past. Jeremy felt her shift in an instant and anchored her back to this moment, to him, bitter and quiet that his road had ended. He closed his eyes and fell into a dream so vivid it felt like mercy wrapped in punishment. In the dream, he held their perfect baby girl. They named her Ray. Little Ray grew up in that perfect dream. Her first word was Dada, her second, Mama. She'd look up at him and tell everyone that her daddy was the most handsome man in the world. They had the perfect family, the perfect life, the happy ending he'd never given her. Sean's heart gave one last grateful beat. The monitor went flat. He was gone. But for Nora, a new beginning was just starting. She stood at the head of the aisle, ivory silk flowing around her, every step steady, every breath calm. She placed her hand in his, and for the first time in her life, she felt certainty without fear. This was her future. This was the joy she'd fought for, together till the end of time. She said yes to a new life, to a new forever.